It's time for another edition of Around the Nest, where we go all over the Blue Jays minor league system, talking all things prospects, promotions, zaniness, and having some fun along the way. Tyler Zickel from the Vancouver Canadians joining you, Andrew Thriffiley from Low A Dunedin, and the one and only Tyler Murray from Double A New Hampshire, docking in the nest, landing in the nest, if you will. No Pat Malacaro today, as he is on the team bus with Buffalo in Scranton Wilkes-Barre as we speak. So cheers to Pat. We'll check on Buffalo later on, but for now, gentlemen, happy day. AT down in Low A. How is life in the Low A Southeast?
All is well. We are on a five-game win streak. Excuse me. If we get to a six-game win streak, yours truly gets a little staff BP. So really, this one's for Andrew today if we win it.
So we are going to be scoreboard watching. Forget the three-team race for two spots in the High A West. On our broadcast for a matinee game here at Funko Field in Everett today, Canadian Tire Canadians baseball will be making regular looks at what will be a night game today. But this is the Andrew Thriffiley special, and we better get some video evidence of your swings on the field in the Turtle.
We can make that happen for sure.
Let's talk about the guys who take BP every day. The offense for the Dunedin Blue Jays. Been another nice week for the DJs. Always great to see those Palm Beach Cardinals taking an L, regardless of who's playing those pesky Redbirds. So for you, Andrew, what's been some highlights this week from the offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Addison Barger, who's had an up and down year at times, but right now he's very much up. He had 3 doubles in our first game of the series, and every double he scored 2 runs. So I guess you could call that a triple double. So good to see him hit well. Another great stat for you, Zach Britton, when he's a catcher, he has 144 games played as a catcher. He's hitting 181. When he's not catching, he's playing outfield or a specifically designated hitter. He's had 87 games as a designated hitter. He's hitting 287. He has only 1 less hit as a designated hitter than he does playing catcher. So I think that's something to look at going forward is the bat going to translate while playing the catcher position, or is that bat, which is a great tool for him, is probably his top tool, is it better served going to the outfield? So we'll see that development, maybe not this year, but as he moves up through the system. So those are 2 guys that are really hitting well right now.
They call them the tools of ignorance for many reasons, but specifically, clearly, you unshackle yourself from that catcher's gear, and you're going to swing the stick.
Yes, and he has definitely shown it this year. He's played 20 games in the outfield, played outfield in college, so obviously looks comfortable there. So it'll be interesting to see how he does as he moves up.
On the mound, Trent Palmer with another W. Of course, we talked a couple of weeks ago, or was that even just last week? Time is a blur and an illusion at this point. But that being said, he's been excellent, making that history as part of that no-hitter in 7 innings in front of his mom the other day. Another W just a couple of days ago. So for him, as you watch his development this season, Andrew, what are some of the things that, going back to opening day to now, he has really improved upon?
You know, he's really found a connection with catcher Jose Ferrer. Those 2 working together have been dominant. And he's just been cruising through his last 3 outings, like looking like nothing's really bothering him. Took a little bit to get out of the first inning yesterday and then just cruised for the rest of his outing. It's really just been throwing strikes more and letting his stuff do the work, and the batters will get out because he's got great stuff. So he's just trusting it and letting the zone and just hitting the zone and finding it more. And it's leading to great success for him. Like I said last week, I believe, when CJ went down, I was thinking either Palmer or Paulino going up. Great for Alejandro Melean. Good opportunity for him to get to play up in Vancouver. But yeah, he's just cruising right now.
Good to see Melean do his thing. Just the other day here at Funko Field, 4 innings, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned on 6 hits with 3 walks and 3 strikeouts, but navigated some tricky innings going up against the first place Aqua Sox. I thought he performed rather admirably in his high A debut. So thanks for Alejandro, I'll tell you that. And as we look ahead to this last stretch of the season, hard to believe we're circling the drain here on September 3rd and September 19th, of course, the last day of the regular season. Who is somebody that maybe might be on the cusp of having a strong 2-week finish, either somebody we haven't talked about or maybe somebody who has been scuffling for the greater part of the summer, but has been showing glimmers of the success and talent that made them a professional in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to be on Stuart Baroa watch. I mean, as a team, we've already broken the Dunedin Blue Jays record for stolen bases. He is at 49 stolen bases now, trying to get to that 50 mark. And if he can get to 62 by some way to get that record as an individual, that would be something to look at. He got his 100th career stolen base last night. So very exciting for him. And yeah, just and low A as a whole, I think the Down East Wood Ducks have like 260 something stolen bases. So the Dunedin Blue Jays are close to 200 stolen bases, and we're not even close to the lead. So maybe some of those rules that minor league baseball is putting in place are starting to work, and we'll see if they keep moving up. But I think Stuart Burrow is that guy.
AT, any final thoughts before I give a little update for the Vancouver Canadians?
I'm just excited to see how the rest of the season goes, to be honest. I mean, 2 weeks left. We got those pesky Tampa Bay Tarpons ahead of us. Maybe we can get a series win against them. And we still haven't lost a series if you don't count one of the games that got moved from June. We still haven't lost a series in over a month. So team that's playing well. We were talking about it the other day. We've maybe had probably over 50 players play for us this year. So a lot of turnover. Good to see for our guys that we've had a lot of guys go to Vancouver and even make it to New Hampshire this year. So just exciting to see these guys keep developing.
AT, as always, thanks for the updates. Scoreboard watching tonight more than any other night all season long. The DJs need a win to get AT in some BP, staff BP style. So we will be rooting for you and for the Dunedin Blue Jays tonight and for the rest of the way. And when we talk to you next, we'll have some games against those pesky Tampa Tarpons under our belts. Looking forward to your updates next week.
Yes, for sure. Always good to see you.
Thanks, Andrew. Quick update before we get to AA New Hampshire. Tell you about some action for the Canadians of late. Last night on Thursday, Adam Kloffenstein, who we've come to know and love as the number 8 Blue Jays prospect, one of his finest starts of the year. 5 1/3 scoreless innings, gave up a home run in the 6th, then got another out before he was removed after 90-plus pitches. And for Kloff, who got his team best 7th win, he was masterful and was not able to necessarily punch out a lot of guys. Checking our game notes from yesterday, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts over those 5 2/3, but only 2 hits. Had a leadoff single in the top of the second, or rather bottom of the second, and then that home run in the 6th. But otherwise, Kloff, fantastic as he continues to put together an excellent second half here in his first high A season. 2 guys in the midst of some historic hitting streaks, Tanner Morris and Spencer Horwitz. 21 consecutive games with a hit. Last night, Morris did so with a single in the 7th and had another knock in the 9th. Horwitz with an RBI base hit in the 5th, and those guys continue to tear it up. It's, in fact, one of 3 21-game hitting streaks going on in the High A West. A guy playing for Spokane, Hunter Stovall. He's the other one with 21, and all 3 of those men are chasing the formerly known as the Northwest League record of 26 games with a hit that has stood since 1962. So although the Seas are on the outside looking in for the postseason, there's still some reasons to get up and come to the ballpark every day and really put together professional at-bats like Horwitz and Morris have been doing so. I think Spencer Horwitz got robbed to be the High A West Player of the Month. In fact, a guy we'll see today, Connor Hoover, for the Mariners affiliate here in Everett, was awarded the distinction. But for Spencer Horwitz, in the month of August, hit .364 and also got on base at a 45% clip and was slugging north of 600. That's math even this English major from Whittier College can do. That's an OPS of over 1. He has been fantastic, and not only has he been able to put together that impressive hitting streak, he had 5 home runs in the month of August after 3 through the first 3 months of the year. So Spencer Horwitz really coming into his own here in the dog days of summer. And Tanner Morris, who was a 5th rounder out of Virginia a couple of years ago, a guy who has quietly been arguably Vancouver's most consistent hitter, and a guy that you can put at any position in the infield and he's going to make plays. Not necessarily somebody that you see just by the eye test and say future big leaguer, but say he adds 20 pounds in the offseason. I think there is a quick ascent, and in all likelihood, Tyler Murray's going to get to see him in New Hampshire for the start of 2022, like with Spencer Horwitz as well. We'll finish with an O update. Orelvis last night had a 3 consecutive game homer streak come to an end, but he set a new season's high for the Seas with home runs in a month by going deep 7 times in August, and has now gone deep 8 times in 25 games played in High A. It's a little bit of feast or famine still for O, that average hovering around 200, but we're seeing him put together better at bats, better plate appearances, working some walks. certainly having a little bit of struggle with those off-speed pitches that are breaking low and away from the right-handed slugger. So his development continues, but this is a guy who seeks challenge. I talked to hitting coach Ryan Wright, and he said that Orelvis, not only he's been told he's going to be in the 4th spot in the lineup by the Blue Jays, but Orelvis wants to be there. He wants the challenge. He wants to be able to contribute for the team. He knows he's going to get tough pitches to hit in that 4th spot. So for Elvis Martinez, great to see the young star showing some maturity that belies his age. And as we get set for game 106 on a Friday afternoon here at Funko Field, it's not a nooner at the Nat, but we'll take some day baseball for the C's. It's going to be Andrew Bash, who was signed as a free agent after getting released by the Angels, 30th round pick out of Cal Baptist, but he has been terrific. Couple of wins and an ERA that's sub-4. Andrew Thriffiley knows all about AB as we look forward for Bash making the start today. And then we'll see Sem Robersa, number 13 prospect, tomorrow night with Paxton Schultz from Orem, Utah, wrapping things up on Sunday. So obviously not necessarily a lock for the playoffs or even anywhere close to it, but the Canadians with 3 more against the first place Aqua Sox this week. Then they'll take on the red hot Spokane Indians, who have won like 37 of their last 42 to rocket into a tie for first. They play 6 games against the Seas next week. So Vancouver very much could be the spoiler. And you know what? It's our party. We'll either cry or we'll cheer if we want to. And looking forward to the Seas continuing to play some good baseball. And scene up to AA New Hampshire. Tyler Murray, LT, happy Friday. Coming to us from the Tooth in downtown Manchester. The Fisher Cats in the midst of a relatively tough stretch. 6 games over the course of what? 4.5, 5 days?
Yeah, we got the doubleheader today, doubleheader on Sunday, and then a standard game tomorrow. But it's been about 500 ball lately, and it's been fun to play the Sea Dogs right now. It's 15 wins and 16 losses this year, and just one of the longest season series we've had against any team ever in our history. So Portland is in a 4-team race for 2 playoff spots. So it's definitely spoiler mode right now for the Fisher Cats, as they are just 2 games under 500. It seems like we get right there and then can't get that final win to get back even. But it's been a fun goal to chase.
You are a guy who is my personal bookie, and I'm curious to know what your odds are at the Fisher Cats finishing the season at or above 500 this year.
You know, we do have some benefits here in New Hampshire. So, yeah, you're not the only one. But I would say 500, you could go at plus 120, which means they are slightly favored. No, slightly not favored to be 500. So it's a matter of getting the pitching a little more consistent. The good news is Elvis Luciano is back, and he had a pretty good start, just 2 2/3 innings yesterday. I got a no decision. It was a weird one with the only Fisher Cats run coming because of an error and a 3-1 loss. But good to have Luciano back now as a member of the general minor league population, no longer a 40-man roster guy. So it's been fun to just look at him as a regular 21-year-old instead of a big league Rule 5 guy that they try to force quickly up. So it's been fun to reassess him as a solid prospect.
Looking ahead for this weekend's action, anybody that we should be keeping an eye on as we continue to scoreboard watch? We obviously talk all about Jordan Groshans, who had another impressive game just the other day, but maybe some guys that we haven't talked about as much. Of course, we talk about Vinny Capper. We talk about Samad Taylor. We talk about a lot of those guys who have made consistent contributions, but anybody been surprising you of late, LT?
If you want to continue listing our roster, Zick, I'll come up with somebody else to talk about. That's fine. but no, it's been fun to watch. I was going to talk about Samad because he really came out of the gate with 11 home runs in the first couple of months to lead the league, and it tapered off a little bit, but he's at exactly 300 right now. Samad Taylor, 1 stolen base away from 30. So he probably won't win MVP, but I think Samad Taylor is a pretty good MVP candidate. And then as we wind things down in the season, I always think about a guy like Chavez Young. I tell people around here that every team should be as lucky to have a guy like Chavez, just with the energy he brings, the fan interaction. And a lot of times it was, okay, this is a decent player. Wow, he's such a great fan guy. But now he's actually rounding into form on all aspects, hitting 275. And you know how it is, Zick. In your first AA year, you can get to the 270s and higher. It looks a lot better than I think maybe the average fan might realize with how difficult the transition is to getting here in AA. So if you can get Chavez Young up to 280 with the great defensive plays he's made, great leaping catch up at the wall a couple of nights ago, he's a guy who Cesar Martin told us at the beginning of the year has the tools to make it to the big leagues. It wasn't a top-rated prospect necessarily, but Chavez Young is fun to watch for a lot of reasons.
leaps at the wall, and he can make the catch. Tyler Murray, that is certainly, we are on the inside. Everybody else is on the outside. That was just for you, my friend. Shout out to Daz Cameron as well.
Well, you're talking about the John Birdie inside the park home run in 2018, but it's relevant because Tanner Kerwer had an inside the park home run here just last week, and you know how fast Tanner Kerwer is. So that was an easy one to call for Bob Lippman, who was on the mic for that particular home run. Once it hit off the wall and went even a few feet past the left and center fielder, he was coming all the way in. So he's a fun player to watch too.
We have Rob DiBernardo, mental performance coordinator with the Canadians these last 2 weeks, but coming back from New Hampshire, obviously Rob servicing high A and double A, he was saying the vibes in the clubhouse for the Fisher Cats, really great. And I know you're not allowed in there the same way this year as we have been in years past, but that's something to be said for some recent success for the Kitty Cats, Cesar Martin's club, as they continue to gel together despite some new additions from Vancouver. And this seems to be a club that has a lot of dudes, some good locker room guys, as a good friend of ours, a friend of the pod likes to say.
It's a maximum vibe atmosphere. And you're right, even though I'm not in the clubhouse, it really carries over to the dugout. One of our favorite things to do is get a dugout shot on the video board right before first pitch and all the fun handshakes the guys do. And they all end with not bro hugs, just like a full-on "we are hugging now" embrace, which, you know, it's inspiring. The guys seem to love each other, and it's Chavez Young and Kevin Vicuña are the two guys who have made that happen. And it's Vicuña is a guy who seems to have a good night 3 times a week at the very least. His numbers don't blow you away, but he's just one of those guys who, now that he's got to play middle infield more with the Austin Martin trade and no longer forced to play first base, he's really opened up his game. Terrific defender. We hadn't seen it. He was making some nice picks at first every once in a while, but that's not his position. So great to see Vicuña able to, I believe, enjoy the game a little bit more at what he has told us is his preferred position up the middle.
Forget the 1970s Pirates team, the We Are Family, Willie Stargell bunch. I want the 2021 New Hampshire Fisher Cats We Are Hugging Now crew.
It's you could make the same song with the same lyric cadence, Zick. So I think you're on point there. But it's been great. It doesn't feel like a team that's been under 500 really all year. I give Cesar Martin a lot of credit for that. And it's just, I think, an example of how much guys still appreciate, even though we're deep in the season, just getting to be in front of fans, getting to be a part of an organized team after the challenges of last year. So it's always a good reminder to see how much these guys still enjoy it.
I got 2 more things for you. One serious, one not so serious. The one could argue I'm never serious, regardless of how serious my question may be. Johnny Barbiero, this is a guy who obviously has a lot of big league experience, plenty of minor league experience, and is trying to make his way back in the Blue Jays system now as a minor league free agent signee. We know the numbers, but it seems as though he's taken a lot of these younger guys under his wing and provides that veteran leadership and presence. Even saw through social media, he's spending time off the field with some of the younger guys. What's his impact been like as far as you can tell?
Yeah, that's always something you hope to have with an older player who's played 3 seasons or at least parts of 3 seasons in the big leagues, but it's never a guarantee. But yeah, he's been terrific in that regard. I mean, he's 29, so you're always going to have him on the higher end of guys in terms of experience, but he's done well as the versatility. He's been in the starting rotation. He's been in the bullpen. The bullpen numbers are great. He's going to pitch game 2 of the doubleheader today. So just a really valuable guy to have around. It makes me think of Craig Breslow back in the championship year in 2018. We had him for the first month or so of the season, and he got just the minimum enough amount of starts to get a championship ring. So if the Cats go on a run, Barbado's definitely getting one. That's for sure.
I had forgotten all about Craig Breslow until just now, but how could I forget? Crafty vet, truly. You change one thing about that John Schneider-led Fisher Cats club from 3 years ago, and you don't win the championship. So shout out to Craig B., probably the smartest guy who's ever suited up for the Fisher Cats, and he got a championship ring out of it. I'm sure he treasures that more than anything else he's accomplished in his long and storied career.
Yeah, it's about half the size of his Red Sox championship ring, but you know they're on the same shelf, I would imagine.
Yeah, one finger over. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish with this. We all know the Fisher Cats entertainment experience unparalleled. Andrew Murray, he's going to get a named shout out for the first time all year. Why? Because of wrestling night at the ballpark. A sumo bobble belly giveaway for me, the hottest promo in all of minor league baseball this season. I'm a little biased, but this is our podcast. We can say whatever we want. And so I'm waiting in the mail from Andrew to get that Rowdy Red bobble belly. But what was it like in the ballpark after something we've been working on for many years and has continued this year after my departure, building into the premier promotion in the Double-A Northeast? What was that like, having Rowdy Red and Bubba Blue battling all night long?
It was special. We get one of those a night usually, and it's the main event, but to have 3 different bouts, giveaways, fans choosing which bobblehead they like better to determine who was the more popular sumo. It worked against Rowdy Red, of course, because he plays up the heel, which, to my understanding, I'm not a wrestling genius. It's he's like the CM Punk. He's like the bad guy that you love to hate. So he's talking trash to fans throughout the night. So of course they didn't choose his bobblehead. Bubba Blue, the People's Champion, won it, but it's one of our best crowds of the year. There wasn't fireworks that night, so it's a fact apparently that the New Hampshire fans they love sumo wrestling here in the Granite State for whatever reason. So that was a lot of fun.
As always, LT, thank you for the updates from Double-A New Hampshire. We're all trying to finish strong here, and I think between Low-A Dunedin, High-A Vancouver, and Double-A New Hampshire, 3 chances to play spoiler over these last 15 games of 2021. LT, thank you very much. And let's get some W's over these next 5 games in 3 days.
Cooking up some dubs for you, Zick, and you alone. Thriffiley, Zick did staff BP a couple of years ago. Okay. Couple of hard grounders to shortstop. Let me see you elevate. Okay, yes. My guy, good luck to you.
Launch angle. Yes, launch angle indeed. Let's get to that second expanse of grass. Gentlemen, as always, we have done it. Another edition of Around the Nest is in the can. Shout out to AT, LT, I'm TZ, and one and only Leo Mui for the first time all year, not just stateside, but he is 20 feet to my left here in the press box at Funko Field in Everett. Leo Mui checking out some Canadians baseball action this afternoon here in Northern Washington. Gentlemen, thanks as always, and we'll see you next time on Around the Nest.